Hey, what's going on? It's Kyle here from escapingthenorm.com. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to manually back up a WordPress website. Now, this is very, very simple. It may sound technical, but it's really not. But why would you want to manually back up your WordPress website? Now, I know there's plugins out there that back your website up for you, and it makes it, simple and like a one-click deal. Kind of like with SiteGround. Now, SiteGround, it works very, very well. It's going to work a lot better than any WordPress plugin. See, the problem is, the backup plugins work fine with a small website that's like 150, 200 megabytes. But once you start getting up to like, 1 gigabyte, 2 gigabytes, 5 gigabytes, so once your site starts to actually grow, most of these plugins will actually freeze up and they won't actually be able to back up your website, which is a huge, huge problem because you need to back up your website. So I'm going to show you how to do it manually, and I'm going to be doing this on SiteGround. But if you're on a different web hosting, that's fine. You'll just need to know how to access your file system for your website and your databases. But it's very, very simple. If you don't know, just look it up. I'm going to just go ahead and dive right in. Okay, I'm here at the home of my SiteGround hosting account. So I'm going to click websites, and I'm going to click site tools under the website I want to back up. Now, I'm going to actually do this. So I'm going to actually delete all the files. And so I'm going to click Site and File Manager. Now, this is where my file system lives. So as you can see, escapingthenews.com, that's my domain. And you want to click Public HTML. Now, everything inside of here, you want to highlight and then click Archive. And I'll show you how to do that. So just click one of them and then hold the Control key down and continue to click the rest of them, while the Control key is pushed down. And once you get all of them, I always scroll through just to make sure I've got all of them highlighted. And then you want to click Archive, and you want to name this archive. I usually name it something like backup, and then dot, whatever the date is, so 2/7/2022, like that, and then hit confirm. It'll take it a few moments, and basically what it's going to do is compress all of these files into one zip archive where you can download it. See, the thing with backing up with SiteGround, a lot of hosting sites, sure, they do it automatically, but you can't actually download them. But using this method, you'll be able to actually download the zip file. And I'll give you a pro tip here. So here's the backup, and you can either right click download, or you can click on it and then click this download button right here. Okay, sometimes, like if you have a big website, sometimes, like when you and this has happened on multiple different hosting companies, but like if you try to download like a large zip file, for some reason sometimes it doesn't download all of it. But the way that you test that it's actually like the full backup is like once the zip file's downloaded. I always look at the size of it, so it says 87 megabytes, and I'll download it, and I'll make sure that the downloaded version's really close to 87 megabytes. Sometimes the size is a little bit different from the server in your computer, but it should be within like 1 or 2 megabytes. But all you do to confirm that it's like a valid backup is you double click the archive, and if it opens, then it's good. But if you get an error like on Windows or Linux, Mac, whatever you're using, and it says it can't open the zip file, then it's corrupt, and you need to either re-download it, or another really good way to do it is to hook up FTP to your site and download the zip file that way. The FTP method is much better, but I'm not going to download this because I don't want to sit around and wait for it to download. Okay, so now that you have this zip file, whether you downloaded it or you just have it here on the server, basically the next thing I'm going to do is go to my database, and I'm going to download it. So I'm going to go MySQL, and actually there's something that I need to show you before I do that. So we need to figure out what database belongs to this WordPress website. So what you do is you scroll down, and like I said, you're in the public HTML, and you scroll down to WP config, which is right here, and I'm going to click edit, which this opens the editor, and I'm going to scroll down, and right here you can see what the database name is. It's a weird name. SiteGround is really secure, and it forces you to use like complex names, so it can't be guessed. So basically, this is the database name. So it ends with 7GV, and so I'm going to go to MySQL, PHP MyAdmin, and whatever hosting you're on. Like if you're on cPanel, you'll just go to PHP MyAdmin from the main menu, and I'm going to click Access PHP MyAdmin. And this is the only database in there in this website. And so all you do is you click the database, and then you click export, and then just leave everything default. So it's on quick. Just leave everything default and click go. And it'll automatically start the download, and you just wait for it to download. Now, these databases can get pretty big as your website grows, and there's a big problem, and that's PHP execution time. Like on my hosting plan, I can't change that, but I think if you upgrade to a higher one, you can maybe. But anyways, if you have like a really large file, like I've noticed if it's like over like 75 megabytes, what you want to do is you want to split this SQL download into two different ones. And the way you do that is click the database, and basically, like, some of the tables are gonna, like, if it's a bigger website, some of the tables will be like a larger size. So you can see this one's 6.5 megabytes, this one's 1.6. So basically, you can split this down into multiple downloads. Just make sure each one is like 50 megabytes or less. Otherwise, it might take too long to like import back into the database, like if you're doing this backup, and it could like be too big of a file to import. And so like I would keep it at 50 megabytes or below per file. But the way you do that, the way you can split it up is you check mark the ones that you want to download, and then like say you wanted to split it up into like 3 different downloads. Like let's say this is a large website, you'd check however many you're going to download in the first run, and make sure you take note of which one, like what names you've downloaded, like where you left off basically. And then you come down here, and with selected, you push export, and then you just hit go, and that'll basically download those tables that you selected. Then you can go back and select the rest. But if your website's like, if it's less than, like if you download this database like I just did in the first one, where you download the whole thing, and it's you know less than 75 megabytes, I wouldn't worry about it. But if it's like 100 megabytes or 200 megabytes, then you might want to split it up. Just saying, because I've had trouble with that before. Anyways, this is our SQL file. It's downloaded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restore the website. And so with SQL, what you need to do is click this database that belongs to the WordPress site. And I'm going to scroll all the way down. I'm going to check all. And then I'm going to click this, and I'm going to click drop. And basically, this is going to delete all the tables. I'm going to click yes. And then I'm going to come back here just to confirm, and it's empty. And so I'm going to do the same thing with the file system. So I'm going to come back to File Manager, and I'm going to exit out of this. And I'm going to make sure that I'm in public HTML. And so these are all my files. And basically, I'm going to delete everything except for this backup. So I'm going to highlight everything, which you click it, hold Control, and then, while Control's held, you click the rest of them, scroll, click the rest of them while Control's hold. So I'm going to do that right quick. Okay, and as you can see, the only thing that's not selected is backup. And like if you downloaded this, all you do is upload it. Like you delete everything, upload this, and then extract it, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to delete all the other files. Okay, so now if I go to my website, it should be blank. Yes, got a 403. Okay, that's good news. Okay, so like, whether you just kept it in here, which you can do, or you downloaded it and then re-uploaded it. What you do is you click it and extract. And by the way, this is very, very similar with cPanel. And basically, it extracts it into a folder. So this backup, I'm going to just go ahead and delete it so it's out of the way. And then I'm going to click into this. And then I'm going to basically select everything here and move it back one directory so it's in the public HTML like it was. Okay, and I'm going to just make sure that everything's selected. And then I'm going to click Move, Browse, and I'm going to click the domain that I'm backing up right there, and public HTML, public HTML. And then I'm going to click Select. And so it should look like that, and confirm. And that's basically going to move all the files back one directory and just make sure that it's empty. And then I'm going to go back one directory and I'm going to delete that empty backup folder. So delete. Okay, now my file system has been restored. Now we need to restore the SQL. So I'm going to click the database. I'm going to click import, choose file, downloads, click the SQL file. And as you can see, it says max 128 megabytes. That's what I was saying. But like with SiteGround, I would say 75 megabytes or less. But this one's only like 10 megabytes. So if it's like under 75 megabytes, I wouldn't worry about it. Anyways, all you do is choose file, select that, and leave everything default and hit go. Now, sometimes this can take a little while, like a minute, 2 minutes. This one probably won't take that long. It'll probably take like 10 more seconds. But okay, there it's done. And so you'll see this green checkbox if it's successful. And yes, PHP MyAdmin, and I've been with multiple different hosts. It's all the same as far as this is concerned. And so you just click the database again just to confirm everything's in there. Everything is in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to visit the website again, and it should work. And so here we go. And there it is. It's completely restored. So that's how you restore a website manually without any plugins. And, like I said, the SQL, if it's too big, make sure you break it up into different chunks. You might have to do that. Like if you have say 10 gigabyte website and you try to make just one big zip file and download that, and you keep getting a corrupt zip file that won't open, you might try breaking that up as well into different sections. But unless you have a big website, you don't have to worry about that. But with that being said, if you have any questions about this, shoot them down below in the comments. I'll appreciate to answer your questions, and everyone else, like other people that are looking for answers that maybe I didn't cover, will appreciate your question as well. So if you got value from this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already and you want more content like this where I walk you through step by step, make sure you subscribe. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.